All right, today is Wednesday, April 7th, 2021. It's about 4 in the afternoon. I'm going to put a couple hours in Billie Jean this afternoon in preparation for this weekend. So what I'm going to be doing is just guide coating the whole shell. Quarters, rockers, dash, firewall, door jambs. Gonna guide coat them, and I'll probably hit the firewall on 600, maybe the dash today. We plan to come in tomorrow and have this whole thing in 600 tomorrow on Thursday, and then Friday early afternoon get it sealed and based, and hopefully Saturday clear it. That's the plan anyways. I'm gonna be using a Mirka dry guide coat. I have Mirka and I have 3M, and personally I like the Mirka better. I feel it sticks to the panel better. The 3M, I like the 3M applicator, but the 3M dry coat or dry guide coat seems to kind of blow off of the panel. Doesn't really stick. It kind of falls to the floor. I think the Mirka really sticks on it better. So I'm gonna guide coat this whole thing. Bring you guys back once that's done. Alright, so here we are about 15 minutes later. I got the whole thing guide coated, and I mean, I've said this previously in different videos, but I always guide coat before I sand anything, any primer, because it really shows any little spot. Like, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up because I got a glare, but got a little bird drop in there. Got all these areas. This car's been sitting in the shop for a couple months in this 2K primer. I think where we left off, it was ready for 600. So I just got the firewall, the jams, rockers, quarters. But like I say, it really highlights everything that needs to be sanded. If you don't use a guide coat, then you don't know what, you can't really see what you're doing. You don't know how much you've done or when to stop. And all these little spots right here. You don't really feel them, but you see them. So on the black base, well, we're going to seal this in the epoxy, and the black base, which hides a lot of stuff. It's not like it's a metallic, so it's really easy to work with. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to put a few hours in out here, probably do the firewall, dash, maybe the jams, then we'll come back in tomorrow and do the quarters and get it set up off the rotisserie. We're not going to paint it on the rotisserie. We're going to take it off, mainly because it's kind of tricky to spray the firewall here. I don't know. I don't know. This gets in the way. So I'm going to take it off, put it on some jack stands, and then paint it. So bring you guys back once I put in some wet sand work. Right, here we are. It's been about 3 hours, and I got a lot more done than I thought I was going to get done. It's blocking down really easy. I'm using 600 wet. I'm using 400 in the jams first, and on the dash and firewall, and then going over that with 600. But it's blocking down good. I'm using 600 wet on the acrylic block, and then on the round Durablock. So I'm liking the results so far. I guess tomorrow we're just going to knock out this other quarter panel. I hadn't even touched that, and then probably just go over the whole car, small detail stuff. Made some good progress in 3 hours. So got to feather this out a little bit, but we're just going to hit that with that epoxy seal. It's actually pretty smooth. When we seal it, hit it with the epoxy. So that's a wrap for today. Like I say, tomorrow we're going to have this whole shell in 600, all the little details, nooks and crannies, and then get it in the little room over here and off the rotisserie. That's the plan for tomorrow. So I'll bring you guys back tomorrow afternoon, see what we get done. All right, today's Thursday, April 8, 2021. And we got this shell in 600 grit wet, and we just washed it twice. Really no breakthrough, huh?
Almost.
Just a little hair right here?
Yeah, a little tiny few little spots.
And that's because of the acrylic block. Yeah. So we're just going to finish drying this out. We're going to get it off the rotisserie and in the room on some jack stands. And then come in tomorrow and start sealing it. So I'll bring you guys back once we get it off the rotisserie. Right, so we got it all washed and masked. A nice little sweat right there. We got the vent tag masked. We got the gas can or gas door ready to go. We popped this trim off here because that needs to come off to put the windshield on. So better paint it now. We got it on jack stand, so the rotisserie is not in the way of the firewall. What you think? Yeah, I think we'll be wax and grease in the morning, and then we're gonna seal it and base it. Seal it, go to lunch, come back, base it a couple hours later, and then let it sit till Saturday morning and clear it. So that's a wrap for today. Bring y'all back once it's in sealer tomorrow. So we just got this thing sealed up. No real issues. Got a couple little sweat drops, mainly because it's pretty hot in here. But we're gonna come back in about 2 hours and sand them out, and then go with the base coat. Paint suit's a bad idea because I sweat a lot and it was dripping out of my wrist. So we're gonna let this sit for about 2 hours. Go get some lunch. Come back and start with the base coat, but there's really no trash. No trash, so we're good. Bring you guys back once we start spraying some color. All right, so what's today? Friday the 9th, April 9th, 2021. It's about 4 in the afternoon. We got this thing in 3 coats of black. So what we did, just to recap, we came in here this morning around 10 and sealed it with 1 coat of the reduced epoxy, 30%. Just like the doors, and then we mixed up 3 quarts of base coat, and we got enough for 3 coats on everything inside and out, with about 8 ounces left over. So we got that inside. We can use that on the trunk. No real issues other than a couple little sweat drops, but we blew them out with the air. No major trash. So what we're gonna do is tomorrow come in here and tack it off, tack rag it. Go for the clear. Just give you guys a walk around. What do you think, JBL? Yeah. We hung the gas door guard or gas door up there. Yeah, it does. Need to add a light over there. But that's a wrap for today. So we're gonna come in here tomorrow, clear this thing 3 rounds, and then start wet sanding on the trunk in preparation to get that painted this coming week. I think the hardest part to spray this was the trunk hinges. I mean, it's not hard, it's just awkward to get it coated. Yeah, weird angles, and with that base it sprays really wet, and you can actually run the base coat if you're not careful. So that's all for today. Bring you guys back in the morning once we start mixing up the clear. All right, today's Saturday, April 10th, 2021. What time is it? About 8:30? 8:24. It is 75 degrees, 90% humidity. Yeah, the air is heavy today. So, plan to around 9 be spraying some clear. We're going to go with the Euro. We're going to go 3 coats with 30 minutes in between coats. So, in theory, we should be done with this by 11 o'clock. Getting ready to tack rag it off. I'm not going to be spraying the clear. This guy is. We're going to be spraying this SPI Euro 2020. Slow activator, slow reducer. We're going to mix it 4-to-1 to 1.5. Run a little low on the reducer. We got a full quart here, so hopefully we can stretch it, make it enough. Anything you want to add, sir?
No, that's pretty much it now.
Yeah, this thing sat overnight.
Yep.
Looks the same as it did when we closed the door yesterday.
Yeah, nothing funky. It's good. Uniform.
Yeah. All right, so bring you guys back once we get it in the first coat. So here we got 2 coats. 2 coats so far. It's taking almost exactly 64 ounces. No, 54. We said 54 per coat. So 35 psi, 54 ounces per coat. So it's taking quite a bit of material for 3 coats, but we're gonna have enough.
About 2 1/4 on the fluid.
Yeah, about 2 1/4 turns on the fluid, 35 psi. How you feeling about it?
Feeling pretty good right now. I don't have the temperature drop.
Yeah, it did drop 6 degrees in the past 20 minutes. So it must be a cold front or something, but I'm really liking this quarter panel.
Oh yeah.
Man, this thing is like 7 feet long. So we're just gonna do one more coat. I'm mixing up the clear, he's spraying it. I based it yesterday. So kind of a trade-off. I think basing is harder. More work. There is some dust nibs, dirt nibs, whatever you want to call them, but nothing big, just here and there. Mainly on the tops and on that quarter panel more than this one. I think it's because of the filters, the way the air is flowing in here. Closer to the window, closer to the incoming air. But 1500 will take care of all this. I got my landscaping shirt on. Bought this yesterday at Walmart. Just for this occasion. Yeah, we paint and then we're gonna cut the grass later. So, I'm just gonna let this flash off a full. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're gonna let this flash off a full 30 minutes because of the temperature drop. Maybe even go 35. We'll bring you guys back once we get the third and last coat done. All right, here we are. It's 11 o'clock and we're right on time. So this is 3 coats of the Euro 2020. Mix 4-to-1 to 1.5. We sprayed it with the 1.4 tip at 35 psi. Doesn't have much texture at all, but it does have some dust nibs. Worse on the passenger side, I guess, like I said previously, because of the intake that I have here, my little setup. And of course, this isn't exactly a paint booth, so it's just a room. I'll give you guys a walk around here. So it's 3 coats on everything. We waited 30 minutes on the second coat, and we noticed that it was a little wetter than we wanted to around the trim holes. Started kind of pooling, just a hair, very faint, so we waited 35 minutes before the third coat. But it's 3 coats on everything. Billie Jean looking good, looking good. I really like this clear. I'm sold on it. Like I say, it's SPI stuff. And for the price, you can't beat it. We blocked this car, man, I forgot, at least 6 times. We bare metaled the whole thing. The lower quarters were replaced on both sides. Just to recap, we bare metaled the entire thing. And then we did 2 coats of the SPI epoxy. We started our filler work. We blocked that down. And then we sprayed Evercoat Super Build, 1 round. Blocked it down with 80. We did it again with 80. And then after a second round of Super Build, 2K primer, all this whole car is SPI products. 2K high build, I think we did 180 twice, maybe 3 times. And then 600 wet earlier this week. Like I say, lower quarters on both sides were replaced. Like I say, there's some dust nibs up top, but man, they're gonna knock down so easy. I can already see it happening. I'm not worried about them at all. Main thing I was worried about was the body work. So we're gonna let this thing sit. This was a huge project, but today's a milestone. Doors and fenders are painted. Like I say, it's about 11 o'clock, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna go ahead and wet sand the trunk 600 so we can get that thing painted this week. Have to order some more materials. And the hood, which we're not worried about that yet. I mean, I don't think the owner even has a motor yet, so that's the last. I just coated a mirror for the Red Rocket. These Impala mirrors. So that's a wrap for this weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This thing was a massive undertaking, but we made it. No major issues, no sweat, no hair, no bugs. We did have a frog in here between the first and the second coat, and man, he was bouncing around the floor. I managed to chase him out, and he made his way out over here in the corner somewhere, and hopefully he's gone, because that's the last thing we need. But so we're gonna let this thing sit, come back in tomorrow, probably get it back on the rotisserie, get it out in the sun for a few days, and possibly sometime this week start wet sand and buff. I don't think it needs anything more coarse than 1500. We're gonna denib it and then hit it the whole thing with 1500. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be linking a few videos together. Stay tuned for more work. Thanks for watching.